What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you how you can take a video from looking like this to something like this. I've been getting a lot, I say a lot, it's really like a few handful of people asking how I color correct my videos, and I thought, why not just show you guys? So let's go through the settings first on my camera. First things first, I shoot in a very flat color profile. That color profile on my camera on the Sony A1 is called S-Log, which is essentially just a very flat, condensed version of what a video is supposed to look like. That way you can take that into whatever video editing software you want and kind of spruce it up and make it your own. If you guys just saw, the new iPhone actually shoots in Apple ProRes log. But for now, let's talk about your camera and your camera settings. And if you do not have a camera that shoots in a log or a flat color profile, do not fret, there are ways to still color grade your footage to make it look great. Next up, I want to talk about your white balance, which is another really important aspect of getting the right colors that you want. This is going to be a controversial take, but I am personally setting my white balance to around 5500 Kelvin most of the time, especially when I am filming with static lights like these right here. This light is also 5500 and the lights behind me are set to 5500, so I just set those to that, and that's what I film most of my videos at. So why 5500? Well, for me, it's because a lot of the film stocks that I love to use for film, like in my analog photography and stuff, are set to 5500. So I thought if those are set to 5500, maybe my video should be as well. So that's kind of why I do that. If you are not shooting in log, I would highly recommend white balancing in camera, not to 5500, to white balance to make sure that the scene looks correct. And there's a bunch of videos on white balancing. I'll link one down below. Next up, getting my files onto my computer. And what software am I using? I am using DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci is really cool because it's a one-time payment of, I believe, $300, and there's also a free version. And the free version has 80% of everything you would need to edit a video. You can edit up to 10K, you can color correct. There's just this few features that you're not able to use, but I don't think that matters too much because the features that I use are mostly all in the DaVinci free version. But if you want, it's a one-time payment, and I swear by this program. I have completely transferred over from Adobe Premiere to DaVinci. I really like it. It has switched up my workflow and just made it a lot more fun to edit. I don't know if that's because it's a new program or if it's just like me getting so bored and burnt out on Premiere and it crashing all the time, but I really am enjoying DaVinci in the process of editing video over there. So if you haven't, go and give DaVinci a look. This is not sponsored. This is truly why, like, I love DaVinci, it's sick. So first things first, I have DaVinci open right in front of me, and I've already imported some of my footage that I want to color correct. So in this case, it's footage from this kind of drive I took up to the Columbia Gorge. So we're gonna work with this clip right here. I'm gonna drag this clip onto my timeline. So I have my clip on my timeline right here. So this whole timeline is a whole separate thing. You're gonna have to play around with this, but it's really similar to a lot of other editing programs. Basically just a timeline that you can cut things, move stuff around, layer it on top of each other, mess with the audio. At the bottom of DaVinci, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different tabs. First one is going to be kind of your assembly tab, where you're gonna get all your media in there. The second one is gonna be your cutting. You can go in here and like do some fine tuning. Your third is your edit. This is where I do most of my timeline stuff. This is where I am the majority of the time when I'm editing a project, is in this editing tab. It's really similar to every other editing program, so don't get too taken back by that. Fusion is basically After Effects built into DaVinci. And then this tab right here is the color correcting tab, and we're gonna spend a lot of our time right here today. So first things first, I want to get this out the way. The preset or emulation that I use is called Cineprint 16. It is an incredible film emulation plugin preset built in with DaVinci. It does an incredible job at making your colors on your camera look very similar to something super artsy or cinematic, or just like very gorgeous colors. I love it because it looks like film, and I want all my stuff to look like film. If I could only shoot film, I would, but it's too expensive. So this is the second best option. There's a great video done by a YouTuber. I will link it down below on how you kind of purchase this, how you install it, and how you go about importing it. But once it's imported, I'm going to show you guys my process on color correcting. So I have Cineprint right here. All I'm going to do is drag and drop it onto my video. So on the right here, you will see all these nodes. Don't get too worried about this. This is basically just layers. So if you work in Photoshop or you work in any Adobe project, you're going to understand this a little bit. But just think of each one of these as layers, and each layer affects the layer below it. So looks very complicated and stressful. It's really not. It's pretty straightforward. They're all labeled for you so you understand what you're working with. First thing you're going to want to do is go over to CST. This is essentially a color space transform node, meaning you can change the color space to a standard color correcting output. So again, it sounds complicated for me. I talked about it earlier. We shot in S-Log and S-Gamut, which are the color node, they're the color space that Sony films in. So your camera's going to have its own one. But again, this comes with a ton. It comes with Canon log. It comes with DaVinci Intermediate, Fuji log, Gamma, and Linear, Rec 709. But we're going to go down to S-Log 3 because that's what I am filming my thing in. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to find S-Gamut 3 as well, because that is the color space that we worked with. All right, so as you can see, the color already looks better over to the right here. This was before, and then this is after switching. So you can tell that it already looks a little bit better. The first thing I'm going to do is go over here and change the white balance node. White balance node is going to go from 6500 to 5500 because, as I talked about earlier, I film most of my stuff at 5500. That's just a personal choice. I'm going to get ripped apart for that. Then your target space is kind of like what you want it to be. So I do want this to be a little bit warmer. So I will drag the color correcting node over a little bit to warm that up. So as you can see, we're already getting a really nice looking video, just straight out the box, cine print, unbeatable. Something else I like to do is I don't love the halation. Sometimes I think it's a bit much. The halation is this redness that you see kind of like around the most highlighted parts of your image. If you just do Command D on that node, it'll actually turn it off. So Command D on and off, you can see like it makes this stuff glow, which is cool, but it's better for like very specific situations. I feel like people tend to overuse that node. I'm also going to turn off the blur node, and I'm going to turn off the grain node just because I don't really want grain in my video right now, unless I'm specifically trying to emulate film. I just want the colors of film, and I want the sharpness of digital, which is like the best of both worlds. If I need to adjust the exposure, I'll come up here to the cam exposure node, and then come to the curve channel right here, and I'll either just pull this down, or I'll pull it up. But I shot this pretty good. I think it's well color corrected and well balanced, so that's kind of my clip. So if I go back to my editing tab, it is now color corrected. You can see the whole video here. If I press P, it'll bring up the whole video for us to watch back. And yeah, it's pretty gorgeous. I mean, it's like the closest thing to film emulation I have been able to find on any editing program, anything across the board. It just looks spectacular, and it's really, really simple to use once you figure it out. Definitely a learning curve, but once you figure it out, very, very simple. I also want to show you how to maybe color correct a clip that's not an S-Log. So a clip that you just kind of like had. So I'll use iPhone footage, for example. So I'm going to bring this iPhone clip down here right next to the timeline where we just color corrected. Go to the iPhone clip. You're going to have to change the dimensions and all that, but just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show you how I would color correct this. So we have our iPhone footage here. We're going to bring CinePrint over to it. And as you can see, it looks awful. It looks insane. And that's because the color space is just all messed up. So if we come over here to our color transform tab, you're going to go to color input space, come down here to Rec 709, and then input gamma, you're going to come down here and go to Rec 709A because it's Apple. You're using an Apple product. If it was any other camera and you shot just regular footage off your camera without messing with the colors, you're just going to go to Rec 709. But for the sake of iPhone footage, Rec 709A. And as you can see, we're already getting a better image. Again, I'm going to turn off the halation because it just doesn't look great on iPhone footage. Turn off the blur, turn off the grain, and then come to the exposure tab. And I'm going to drop down the exposure because it is very bright right now. So if I bring that down, you can tell that is already giving us a better image. Like it already looks so much better. So if I disconnect this, here's before and here's after. And as you can see, it looks so much better, like so much better. So you've color corrected your video, you've edited it, now you want to export it. All I tend to do is I click I at the start of the video, and then I click O for the end of the video. So in point and out point. I go over to this bottom right tab, which is the delivery tab or the export tab. And there's all sorts of presets on ways to export your videos. I would look up the best way to export your specific video, whether it's for YouTube, for Instagram, for vertical content, horizontal content. There's a bunch of other videos online that you can go through and kind of figure out what works for you. So that's basically how I color correct my videos inside of DaVinci. If you guys have any questions, please be sure to leave them down below. I really enjoy helping you guys and working you guys through this. So I know I'm not like a how-to YouTuber, but I do like making these videos on how I do my process. So thank thank you so much for watching. I hope that helped a little bit, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.